welcome. This is a few of my points on VSF fahrradmanufaktur T-300. A fairly comfortable ride, and I love it quite a bit. Magura rim brakes. It's actually quite nice and smooth. I always thought rim brakes, especially hydraulic, is going to be an issue, but they're actually quite smooth. Nice quick release. You've got a dynamo hub, which works quite nicely. This little light, small as it is actually stupidly bright, and for nighttime cycling works quite nicely. One of the small issues I have on this bicycle is that the tires, I've changed to a slightly wider tire, but the mud guards really limit what size tire you can go, and rough roads, it every now and then will hit the tire, making some sort of noise, which puzzled me for a long time, hearing a funny noise every now and then, but it was actually the mud guards eating the tire. I've upgraded with the extra rack and mount extra bang 9-speed cassette, and a nice chain guard. This is actually quite handy for cycling of long pans. I found that my pans don't get as dirty as quickly normally. What a nice adjustable stem. But I really do have one issue with the stem, is that when I have to fairly regularly tighten the stem, because it tends to come loose and then becomes more of an irritation than anything else. Brake levers are also Magura HS22s. They very mid-range. It's a bit of irritation that it's plastic, but it has been lasting quite well. It doesn't have any nicks or scuffs after years of use, and still looks really nice. It's smooth. Brake pad seems to last quite long. The handlebars are quite comfortable. I would upgrade to grips if I can. Fairly short guy, 1.7-ish meters long. This is a 52 centimeter, 54 centimeter frame. As you can see, I can sit fairly comfortably on it. The clearance between my legs and the panniers are quite good, and it's a fairly comfortable ride. Go back home. Let's take some measurements. This bike frame from center crank to about where the seat post comes out is roughly 53 centimeters, 54 centimeters. From the ground up to the seat, which my comfortable ride, is just shy of 1 meter. The distance between the seat post and the stem, that is about 600 millimeters. Made quite comfy for me. The main difference is a double butted on the TX400, whereas the T300 is normal frame. They both weigh about the same, surprisingly, so I can only guess that the pipes are actually quite thick on the T300. The stem on the T300 versus the stem on the TX400. I love the TX400 a lot more, and that irritation about the stem coming loose. Grips are really awesome, comfortable. The grips on the T300 are not bad, but worth upgrading. Yeah, got a top bar on the T300 that comes to roughly about 28 millimeters diameter, with the TX400 a good 4 millimeters wider, diameter of 32 millimeters. A few clear distinctions is you can see the double butted underneath the seat post. The backstay has got a bit of an interesting kink there, whereas the T300 is straight. The mud guards, which sort of limited the tire width, you can see 60-ish millimeters on the TX400, while as the T300 quite a bit narrower so that comes out about 45 millimeters, so 15 mils more. I've upgraded the TX400 to SPD Shimano clipless pedals that you can still wear normal shoes, but I tend to actually wear them normally. And then I moved those pedals to the older bike, and I almost like the other pedals. Some other changes, the upgrades, are the headlamp. I would say they're fairly much same. The brakes are Magura HS33s. Nice, still have a fairly plasticky feel to it, but I do think that is aluminium and not plastic. Okay, now the back rack. The back rack on the T300 is a really nice rack. It has held up quite nicely on some of my expeditions where I've loaded it quite a bit. The TX100 is more robust, wider rack, and a better supported on the frame itself, whereas this other one is bolted onto the mud flap itself, but very neat, tidy design. The D400 has got a 10-speed rear cluster and Shimano XT, while as the T300 that is a 9-speed Dior derailleur. In conclusion, this T300 is quite nice. It is mostly aimed at city cruising and not bikepacking, but I did take it bikepacking and some gravel roads and found it quite comfortable and really love it. It's still a head turner. People always ask where you're from, and if it wasn't for a good price on the TX400, I would still be cycling this bike.